What's up, everybody? I'm Harry. This is my friend Samek. Say hi, Samek.
Hello.
And today we're announcing the Attunement Residency, which is a week-long relational meditation retreat we're running this September. And
I'm going to
Samek,
start
let's get into
with a
it.
question. What made you want to do this?
I was about 2 months ago, I was in between jobs and I was swapping. I was doing like 4 hours of relational meditation a day. And I was like, this rocks. Like nothing in my material life was changing, and my life was just getting better and better. And I was crying tears of joy like every second or third day, and crying tears of grief every second or third day, but very beautiful, deeply enjoyable and relieving grief. And I was like, I've made it, this rocks. I was like, so what would be even better than this? I was like, oh, I could do this in person, also in a culture of people practicing this, in a culture of people having that amount of emotional fluidity and freedom and connection, and not just getting to do relational meditation with those people, but also getting to live with them and hang out and dance and cook or whatever we do, go on walks. Um, and I was like, that sounds like the best thing ever. How can I make that happen? And then I told you about it, and now we're working on it together. And now we're here announcing it. So that's what's up. And I want to ask you the same question. What made you want to do this?
I think it'd be awesome to live with people who I can practice with. And I think like the ultimate goal, the end goal is to live in community, a community of practice where I can just be there and show up. And showing up, like the easiest way to show up for me would be with wonder and love. And I got a taste of that at a reunion, Art of Accomplishment reunion, where it's like, oh, all these people practicing. And it's a form of practice that has a lot of vulnerability and emotional fluidity. And I was like, yeah, this is the kind of life I want to live. This is the type of community I want to be in, where showing up is the practice. And there isn't really anything like that out there. And when Harry was like, oh, I want to do this thing. And I was like, oh, yeah, I want to do this thing too. Because not only is this awesome, but there's also like, this is like the first step towards finding or building a community that has a lot of emotional fluidity, vulnerability, where showing up with wonder and love is the easiest thing to do. So
Yeah.
that's the way that I thought about it. So it's like
Wait, I
it's a residency. So it's a mini experiment for me in seeing what living in that kind of community for 7 days would feel or look like.
so banger, and thank you for saying that because that connects for me to like the larger purpose is I would say my life is about creating and living in absurdly healthy human cultures and about conversation as a spiritual practice. And I want to mash those together. And the dream for me is, like you said, to live in community with people who also want this degree of connection and emotional fluidity and vulnerability and ease and fun. And part of me is like, let me buy the commune right now. Like I want 100 people at the commune tomorrow. And I don't know how to do that, but I do know how to run this residency, especially with Samek. Um, and getting it for 7 days is a lot better for 0 days. And also, there's so much we're going to learn by running this and by being participants in it, doing these practices with everyone and building this culture with everyone.
Yeah. I'm going to shoot back to you the next question, which is What is it? What is the Attunement Residency?
I actually I like the way you explain this better, so I'm passing it back to you. What is the Attunement Residency, and also who is it for?
I would say, like I said before, the Attunement Residency is 7 days of relational meditation, which is deep conversations and like relating with someone else from that place of deep connection. So that, and then you can bring whatever issues you want, or just do relational meditation, whatever that is, to go into yourself and to connect with others in a deep way. And this is for people who are practitioners. This isn't for someone who doesn't know how to do this. And it's for people who have like some degree of emotional fluidity or want to develop a deeper degree of emotional fluidity, who are okay with being really vulnerable without having a massive shame backlash after like a deep conversation. This is for people who want to develop really deep friendships and live in community. His dream is to live in loving communities where they can show up fully authentically, or if they don't know how to show up fully authentically but are willing to do the practices or have done the practices, run an experiment to show up like fully authentically and see what happens in a community.
And now I'll answer your question. I did like how you said it. Yeah, who's it for? I'd say you've done probably at least 100 hours of some relational meditation practice, and you feel pretty stable and have a deep understanding of that. So to be clear, me and Samek aren't going to be teaching you how to do relational meditation. We're inviting people and accepting people to this who already have some tool, some way they're comfortable doing that. And then we're going to share those tools together, and we're going to swap relational meditations, focus on one person and then focus on the other person, and develop our own practices by offering them to others, and also learn about and understand ourselves and learn how to show up in more love and with more ease by receiving the loving attunement and listening of another person. So that's who's it for. What is it? I mean, that's also what it is. Samek hit most.
I want to ask what relational meditation as we define it is, just so that people know.
Dude, again, I'm gonna throw that back to you. I like your I like your definitions of the mechanisms of things. So what is relational meditation?
I remember Harry describing like this to me, which is like being fully authentic and being just like a human being with unconditional love is a really, really hard thing to do, especially outside a container, just like interacting with people. And I view relational meditation as a practice of showing up in unconditional love, whether that be in conversation. So, like in Art of Accomplishment, they teach view for this, whether that be like noting or like doing a kind of like IFS style, internal family system style inquiry, which I think like if you do a journey retreat, they teach you how to do relational meditation where they're basically doing IFS for the participants to help you get into the jhanas, whether that be like forms of nonviolent communication where you're learning to ask like really good questions or reflect back someone's emotional reality to them and their needs. Like it's like the feelings and needs thing that feels pretty unconditionally loving, and you kind of have to be in yourself, fully connected with yourself, and be with the other person, which is empathy and kind of relational. It's like a step towards relational meditation. So I would say like anything that's moving you towards a form of authentic expression of self that is unconditionally loving, I would view it as a practice of relational meditation.
Boom.
I'm gonna throw it back to Harry.
Yeah. Got to make you go first. What comes up for me is most simply, relational meditation is one person is listening and the other person is expressing authentically. Mic drop.
But the person listening, I would say, is like embodying unconditional love to the best of their ability.
Absolutely agree. You could also throw attunement in with listening.
Yeah, it's attunement for a reason. The attunement residency.
Haha,
You're poetically attuning to the other person and hanging out with them.
And just a little bit more on what is this, me and Samek saying that the real dream is living in community with similar qualities and similar practices and culture. We're also going to be cooking together. We're also just going to be hanging out, right? We're going to do relational meditation like 3 to 5 hours a day. And then we're going to be hanging out. We're going to be cooking together. We're going to be talking. We're going to be going on walks. We're at a retreat center that people come to every day, and they do morning meditation. So we might do regular meditation with them. Whoa. And also we have slots for participants to run workshops if there's any things they want to share. So like I have a friend who might come who does ultra speaking. He might teach some ultra speaking.
I would say that's a form of relational meditation, especially like the way that they teach it, which is like, oh, we have this idea of who we should be, but we want to have an authentic expression of our sense of self, is the way that ultra speaking teaches it, which is like speak before you think. And then if something fucks up, you feel the feelings and you change. And that feels pretty like learning to be authentically you. And then your participants in that container is also holding, or they don't intentionally do it, but it's the goal is to hold the other person, the person speaking, with unconditional love.
And what comes up for me when you say that is the yin yang of listening and expressing authentically. Yeah. And like one of the most effective hacks I've found to express myself authentically is to listen to myself. And when I'm listening to someone else very deeply, it's pretty easy for me to express myself authentically. So yeah, the yin yang of that. And unless you have anything to add, I think it's just, if people are interested in this, how can they apply? How can they learn more? And what does the application process look like? Also, I'm just going to say logistically, this is September 8th through 14th in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah. So the Attunement Residency, Portland, Oregon. We have a website. It's called harryandsamek.com.
The best domain name of all time. Come on, harryandsamek.com.
Yeah, it's great. So that's our website. It has everything you need to know, like additional information about it. It's very succinct. You can like look it over, read it over to see whether you're fit or you feel like you're a fit. There's an interest form at the bottom, application form. It's going to take like 5 minutes, probably less than that. And if we feel like you're a good fit, you're going to hop on a call with either one of us. We're going to interview you, and we're going to check whether you have good vibes, whether you know how to show up with unconditional love. And if you know how to show up with unconditional love, well, yeah, it's like the normal application process.
It's a lot of pressure. Make sure you bring your good vibes. And I just also want to say, if it doesn't feel like you're a fit from the written application, we'll just let you know too. So we won't ghost you. As long as you apply before September. Well, honestly, as long as you apply before like August. I'm going to say August.
Right.
Or before the end of August is what I mean. And yeah, I think I'm good on everything. Anything else from you, sir?
No, this is awesome. I'm excited.
Sweet. Yeah. And yeah, me and Samek are going to be doing this no matter what. So I hope some of you join us. I hope I get to meet some of you. And I'm excited for what happens, however it looks. And thanks for listening. And that's all I got. Anything else from you, Samek?
Right now, the cost is, I think, $1,000 for all inclusive. So this would include food and stay and everything for 7 days, which I think is a really good deal. If you can't afford that, please let us know in the application. We're going to do scholarships to try to make it affordable for you. If you're a great fit, like, we can run it, we can change the price for sure. So I wanted to add that little piece, especially since, yeah, some people might not think it's like, oh no, I don't have the money. It's like, nah, that's a little flexible for us.
Agreed. Sweet. Samek, take us out.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to our announcement of the Attunement Residency. We're really excited to run this and hope some of you join us for this awesome week of living in loving community.
That's all, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Attunement Podcast or for the Attunement Residency 2. What? There's a sequel. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. See y'all later. Have a good day. Bye.